you know, smokers got to smoke somewhere too, and it's not that bad as long as, you know, I'd say a smoking section.
I'd be for it. You know, with the bans right now with all the public places, it's been nice not to have that. You know, whenever you go to the States and you're in a building and you feel somebody walk by you with a smoke, it's kind of a surprise.
Like if somebody asked you not to, I definitely wouldn't, but I'm on a patio.
In patios and stuff like that, I would assume if you were a smoker, it's like annoying to have to go somewhere else to smoke, so.
I would love that if there was a smoking ban on patios.
They should maybe have a right to smoke outside on patio.
My habits wouldn't change. I'd just find another corner to go around and hide.
All right, so obviously some different opinions out there, although most are quite sympathetic to, or at least in this day. Maybe everyone was just really happy that day because Jeff and I went out and it was a really sunny, warm day, and maybe people were just feeling like the world was fair. But quite sympathetic to smokers having at least one place to go when it comes to the patio, although a recent survey does suggest that the majority of Manitobans would like to see that smoking ban that we saw come into play a decade ago extend itself to the patio. Where do you guys sit on that?
Well, I loved the video, the way I'm big into connection, right? And I think a big part of connection is empathy and understanding how other people are feeling. And I loved how the non-smokers wanted, sort of were sympathetic to the smokers wanting a big place to be able to have a drink and a smoke, and the smokers could understand where maybe they didn't want to be offensive to the non-smokers. Mm-hmm. And so I loved sort of how there's this warm Winnipeg vibe happening and what was going on there.
Where I don't, there's a warm Winnipeg vibe, granted, and until I step onto a patio and after, you know, you work a long day, you just want to drink, you want to just relax.
Fresh air.
Yeah, and because I spend so much time inside also, I go onto a patio and everyone is smoking. And it's just like, I understand that it's a lot easier for smoke to escape on a patio than it is in a bar, and I'm very happy that bars are non-smoking. There needs to be some type of designation or some type of airflow chart or something that can help me on certain days, because when every single table except for mine is smoking, I'm basically smoking when I'm on that patio. And it really bothers me. I am someone who loves the outdoors, but it almost drives me to be on my balcony sometimes more than a patio. I live close to a lot of patios, and some of them are the more popular ones that people will smoke at all the time.
I'm going to come across like an Ayn Rand reading libertarian. I recall when I was a waiter in one particular Winnipeg Italian restaurant when it was still the smoking and non-smoking sections. And the smoking section filled up much faster than non-smoking. It was so interesting. There was a lot of business going on there. Business owners, especially small business owners, in this country in particular, have so many rules put upon them. And whether it's, I was talking to a business owner in Wolseley who owns a cafe there who was lamenting, you know, minimum wage. Because he thinks, you know, minimum wage legislation is hurting him and everything like that. And I look at the smoking debate and I think—
he wants to pay them less?
Well, yeah. But, you know, I'm just wondering at what point does a business owner just have the freedom to choose to do as they wish? And we, as patrons, can—
have the choice of going there or not.
Because I just wonder about that, because again, I'm coming at it
as a free market society kind of viewpoint.
And I'm not a business owner, but I'm thinking if I am a business owner, boy oh boy, there is a lot of rules that get put on me, and people can choose to patronize my business or not.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't think about it from a business owner's perspective. That's really interesting. I only think it from a selfish perspective, where patios are pretty confined. Like, they're outdoors, but they're still confined spaces, and you can't. In a Winnipeg summer, like, patios are packed. You can't get up and move. So if you're downwind from a smoker, like, you're stuck there, and that can really ruin a meal, I think.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just wouldn't go there.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's hard to legislate things that are, I feel like because there's this air of cooperation that people want to figure out a way for everyone, then it becomes difficult to legislate, because then how do you say, okay, well, the legislation is there's a slight smoking ban where you have to have this side of the patio, well, smoking, and this side not, but what if this patio is small and then you can't have smoking, but someone across this way who has a bigger patio does? So it becomes a bit of a challenge for business owners that way too, because it doesn't make the playing field fair.
And I guess the analogy I would use too is, you know, mandatory seatbelts. seatbelts, mandatory bike helmets, and that we're trying so hard.
These are all good things.
No. I agree with you, Kim. But at what point do adults just have to, be accountable for what they do? And we're trying to protect ourselves from ourselves so much, and I'll go back to Europe as an example, where it's a much older society, and it's people don't even bat an eye about lighting up on a patio, and no one judges it. They just, if they don't want to be around it, they just move on.
But also, Europe has taken out smoking in bars and even places like France,
in enclosed space, yeah.
In enclosed space. So, is there the next? I mean, this is the next progression for us. Isn't it foreseeable that at some point that could be the next progression for them?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like there's the whole part of personal choice, and I do agree that we are over legislative or over legal. I don't know. I'm missing a word here in my thought. However, when someone's blowing smoke in my direction, that's no longer my choice, other than to patronize a bar. And the thing I get kind of caught up on is that business owners, I think you almost make more money if you allow smoking. It's just because smoking and drinking go hand in hand almost. Right. And so I don't know. I'm either just cut it out or allow it. I don't know.
I put our street hack up on my Facebook page, and actually that ended up being a really huge back and forth discussion between a bunch of my Facebook friends, which it's really uncomfortable for me. I don't know if you guys have had that experience where you say something and all of a sudden people that they don't know each other start sort of bickering, and you're like, well, great discussion, everybody. But one of the people was a smoker, and certainly had really strong views over she even at one point said, well, I don't want to breathe in exhaust when I'm on my bicycle on the street, but I'm forced to deal with people who drive their cars to work every day. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting thing, because I think the health issue is the real thing for me too, and I've gone as far as not gone to family Christmas dinners because people refuse to not smoke inside when my kids are coming. So I'm on the same page as you, but I kind of liked that she brought that point up about we're forced to sort of deal with a lot of negative health effects that they're just a way of our society, and kind of suck it up. If it's legal to smoke, I guess. Yeah. Well, and we can leave it at that. We definitely have in our next segment, we'll give us a couple more minutes to talk about that, because we're talking about some domestic violence issues, which is why we brought Carolyn Bergen on the panel to lead us in the right direction. And we'll take a quick break and get to that.